Hello everyone, good day. Welcome to Module 6, and in this module you are to explore evaluation as a tool towards improving quality of educational services and programs. Specifically, you'll examine the significance of educational evaluation and a variety of evaluation approaches, methods, and techniques. By the way, I am Ranelyn M. Bahan together with Hannah May Caballas, and we are the reporters for Lesson 1. Alright, upon the completion of this lesson, you should be able to first demonstrate concrete knowledge and understanding of educational evaluation and explain the rationale behind the conduct of educational evaluations. So, specifically, Lesson 1 introduces you to the utilization of evaluation as a valuable decision making tool of educators, administrators, and program designers. This lesson persuades you to become active participants in the accreditation endeavor of your future employer as teachers. All right. So, what is educational evaluation? So, educational evaluation is an essential part of educational policy making, planning, and implementation. It is a systematic, continuous, and comprehensive process of determining the merit, worth, and significance of school initiatives and programs. So, its main tenet is the holistic appraisal of a learner, his or her environment and accomplishments. Also, educational evaluation is not limited to the teacher student engagement. All programs or activities in the school that went through the process of deliberate planning and implementation require an assessment of their worth and value. So, educational evaluation is deemed imperative as a tool in the continuous quality improvement of schools as an institution. Furthermore, in layman's term, educational evaluation is the process of ascertaining the quality of education provided by schools. As a tool for decision making, educational evaluation generates data that may trigger changes in the current practices, programs, initiatives, activities, policies of schools. So, the results of evaluation shall become the basis in the formulation of appropriate educational decisions and actions. Alright, so we have here instructional and grading. So, inside the classroom, teachers reach instructional decisions with respect to the extent of attainment of the intended learning outcome. So, data is obtained from test results and performance scores. So, analysis will lead teachers to implement adjustments in the delivery of the lessons and the design of assessment tasks. So this also includes decisions for promotion or retention of students in a particular grade level. We also have diagnostic. So when we say diagnostic, it is assessment of the strengths and weaknesses of the learners that allows teachers to identify the root or the causes of the difficulty. So diagnostic assessment provide relevant information regarding the readiness of the student. So intervention and remediation programs must be based on the needs assessments. Also, we have here selection and placement. So it is evaluation data may also be gathered to select the students to be admitted to a program or activity. So, moreover, the placement decision is made once the student is admitted to the school and usually intends to identify students who need remediation or enrichment classes. Also, we have here guidance and counseling. So, when you say guidance and counseling, it is the initiatives that are deemed more suitable if they are products of assessment. So, this includes the use of sociometric and standardized personality tests, anecdotal records, and clinical observations. Evaluation results may become basis for guidance and counseling initiatives in response to the students in response to the needs of the learners. Also, we have here program or curriculum. So, based on results of evaluation, school administrators may decide to continue or to discontinue, revise, or pursue a program, activity, and curriculum. So, evaluation shall lead to better planning and implementation in the succeeding school endeavor. So, hence, evaluation should be an imperative in every school's processes and procedures. Furthermore, we have here administrative policy. So, given the available resources of the school, a thorough evaluation of the efficiency of utilization of funding and assets should provide the basis for modifications and plans, policies, and processes. So, decisions whether to acquire new facilities, machineries, and materials, and whether to add more staffs must be based on gathered data. Alright, so that's the end of my part, and let's have Hannah May Cabalias to continue this lesson.
All right, thank you so much for that one, Ma'am Renelyn, for your insights. Now let's proceed to the five guiding principles for evaluators. So this is now according to the American Evaluation Association last 2018. Okay, so the five guiding principles for evaluators are as follows. First is systematic inquiry, second, competence, third, integrity, fourth, respect for people, and the last one is common good and equity. Okay, so the first one, systematic inquiry, it talks about thorough and methodical. Second is contextually relevant. So, as an evaluator, you should always remember that you have this wide range of techniques, methods with a strong focus on the behaviors of complex situations and the meanings we draw from those situations. So, in other words, you have this knowledge of some certain situations. Say, for example, in a school, you have regarding with this new program. So you should always remember that you have, as an evaluator, you should have the knowledge about this program so that you can give a good evaluation for that one. Okay, next one is competence. It talks highly qualified evaluators and refined evaluative skills. So um, also we should always remember that if you are an evaluator, you should have this evaluative skills. You cannot evaluate a certain program or a teacher or a student if you don't have the skills. Okay, so you should have this competence principle. Okay, so that yeah, as I said earlier, you can have a good evaluation to each part of the school or of the program of the student and other things. Okay, so next one is integrity. It talks about maintain honesty and transparency and ensure integrity of evaluation. Okay, so this is now the most important principle for evaluators, the integrity. Why? Because as an evaluator, you should always maintain the honesty and transparency of yours. You should always remember that whenever you are evaluating some certain programs, or say, for example, you are evaluating a teacher, so you should always maintain honesty with yourself as well as with your work in evaluating your fellow teachers, say for example like that. Okay, so that you can have, or the evaluation should be, or let me say, the evaluation will be good and the result will be good. Okay, so the next one is respect for people. So it now talks about the honor, the well-being, and self-worth of individuals and abide by the data policy regulations. Of course, if you have the integrity, you also have, or you should also have, the respect for people. Okay? Because if you are not respecting other people, they are not going to respect you, of course. Okay, so the next one, or the last one, is common good and equity. Mitigate biases and power imbalances, strike balance between clients' interest and integrity of evaluation. Okay, so common good and equity. So, as an evaluator, you should not possess of being a biased person. Okay, you should always remember that you should have always remember the equality of your evaluation. Okay, next one. So yeah, that's now the five guiding principles for evaluators. The first one is systematic inquiry, or you have the knowledge, or the wide range knowledge of a certain program or certain situation. Next is competence. You are a highly qualified evaluator. Next is integrity. You maintain the honesty and transparency of your work. Next is respect for people. And the last one is common good and equity. You should always remember to remain or to empower, or to mitigate rather, the biases and to power the imbalances of your work. Okay. Now we have these four kinds of evaluation. So first one is competency evaluation. So it is a means for teacher to determine the ability of their students, not necessarily through a standardized skill or work. Okay. Okay, so competency evaluation, it is, as an educator, you should always look at the other side of evaluating your students. Say, for example, you are going to determine the ability of your student. So you need to look for the current skill levels of your students and the potential competencies that they could acquire or enhance. Okay, so let's have the performance evaluation. Okay, so for performance evaluation, ascertains the extent of capability to demonstrate a particular skill. So if you know now the skill of your, or the skills of your students here in competency evaluation, here in performance evaluation, you are going to extend their capabilities. If they know how to dance, then you are going to, say for example, um, you are going to have a hip hop competition. So by that kind of performance, you are going to evaluate, oh yeah, ganito pala siya kagaling sumayaw, ganito. Okay, so through this kind of evaluation, you may be able to know if he or she, or if your student know that skill or have that extension of that skill. Okay, now let's have the course evaluation, or evaluates the quality of the delivery of a given course. So this is now, it talks now the course of, or the quality of the given course. And the next one is program evaluation. So it determines if a program works, and all of these are components of educational evaluation. Okay, so program evaluation, it determines if a program works. Okay, so all of these components are included in the educational evaluation. Okay, so the competency evaluation, performance evaluation, course evaluation, and program evaluation. Now, let's have the evaluation process. Okay, so the evaluation process starts in planning, implementation, analysis, and ends in the reporting phase. Okay, so the first process of evaluating or in the evaluation process, the first one is planning. So planning, there must be constructive alignment among objectives, programs, and evaluation criteria. What are the program's conceptual underpinnings? What information is needed to make decisions? Which stakeholders will be directly involved in the process? And designing the data collection tool is also a foremost concern in this phase. We should always remember that in evaluating a certain program, or say for example program in education, the first step is to plan. We should always remember that this is the first step, and this is now the most important thing of evaluating. Okay, so planning, it involves of the objectives, the criteria, or the concepts of that program. What are the purpose of that program? What do they need to have that program? And who are the beneficiaries of that program, and which stakeholders will be directly involved in the process. Say, for example, that EDBA or DOH or other branches of the government. Okay, so that is now the first step or process of evaluating. Second is implementation. So the prior concern is the administration of the data collection tool. Extra care in data gathering and handling is a must to ensure authenticity of findings. Of course, if you are now done with the planning stage, you need to go to the implementation stage. So you are now going to have that program. Say, for example, you are planning to have this kind of program, then this is not the second step that you are going to implement that kind of program. So with this current stage, the implementation stage, you need to have the extra care in data gathering, so that in the next stage of this process, you have this reliable data, as well as a good data that you can have, so that in the next stage you have this good result. Okay, here is now the third process, the analysis. So objectivity in interpretation and credibility of the findings are to be established, and appropriate quantitative and qualitative data or data analysis tools must be utilized carefully. Okay, so after the implementation, you are now going to know if that program works, or if that program is really not that work in a certain field. So here there is now the interpretation of those data that you gained in the implementation part. Okay, so the findings now are being established, and also you need to have this quantitative and qualitative data analysis tools, so that you will have a good analysis of that kind of program. Now let's proceed to the last part of the process, which is the reporting stage. Okay, so translating the evaluation results in concordance with the context of the recipients of the findings. And data presentation must lead to clarity and not confusion. Consequently, the results will lead to planning for program changes. So now, if you are now done with the analysis part, you are done with analyzing those data that you've gathered in the second stage or the implementation stage, you are now going to evaluate or to translate the evaluation results in accordance to the context of the recipients of the findings. So here you need now you here in this stage you need to have this interpretation now or the presentation now of the data, and you should always remember that if you are going to present the data, it should be clear and will not cause to confusion. Okay, so that the readers or the other members of the stakeholders may know if the result will have these changes of the program or not, or if they're going to continue that program. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all for today. Thank you so much everyone for listening. I hope that you've gained another information from us, from the reporters. And yeah, we are hoping that you gain something. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Have a great day.